Okay, we will go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Today, we have Hamid Kohan, who is from LegalSoft, and he's going to be talking about scaling your AI law firm, the best strategies and practices for it. So, Hamid, why don't you go ahead and get started?
Great, thank you. So, starting with the strategies, it's very important to be aware of what's going on with the AI, especially in the legal industry, because it's completely going to revolutionize how the legal industry operates using the AI resources combined with the virtual staffing resources, which are going to integrate together to be able to reduce the cost of practice and also make it more efficient, more effective with having access to a lot more data faster, cheaper, and reduces the human resources requirement to running a law practice. So, my name is Hamid Kohan. I'm the founder of LegalSoft. Uh, been involved in the legal industry for a while. LegalSoft, we provide virtual staffing and law practice growth for over 700 law firms nationwide. And a few months ago, I published a book because my entire background is the high tech industry for 20 years of Silicon Valley, and then after that in Southern California. So, combination of that tech experience bringing to a legal industry, I felt the need to publish a book about how to scale your law firm with utilization of the AI and what's going on. The reason it's called How to Scale Your Stupid and Crossed Out, because my first book that I did a couple of years ago was How to Scale the Stupid Law Firm. So I quickly scratched that up and changed it to the AI because it moves so fast from a regular law practice to an AI virtual law practice. Oops. So So we are one of the largest providers of virtual staffing in the legal industry. How we do that, we have offices in over 8 countries. We provide virtual trained legal staff that are full-time dedicated staff, a lot of bilinguals, into the law firms that they take variety of positions from intake to case managers to paralegals, demand writers, even remote attorneys, which is very popular nowadays because they can do pretty much everything that a paralegal can do, but their writing skills is very efficient and they're skillful and they're available as a full-time staff at a fraction of cost of what you would do on the local staff. We cover a variety of different practice areas, which we have local US based attorneys who have developed curriculums for training of this staff, from personal injury to employment to immigration, family law, estate planning. We have a full training department that actually trains and certifies this staff to be placed into the law firms. And as I mentioned, we currently do about 700 law firms and we add about 50 new law firms a month. Um, and this is staff again, they work on your hours, they're full time, and they're full time dedicated to the law practice, and you basically integrate them into your practice directly. We have actual physical offices in 8 countries that the entire focus is to recruit, train, and deploy legal staff globally into the local law firms. So we have recruiters, talent acquisitions, trainers. We do onboarding, and I mentioned we spend the whole year while they're working at the firm, continuously training them on the practice type and the position they have with each of those law firms. So, talking about what our goal is AI in the law practice. So, basically, what you've seen recently a lot is on how AI has been used through the Chat GPT. Is almost like the invention of the internet going back probably 40 years ago, which I was actually in the space when internet came about when I was working at Sun Macrosystem 35 years ago or so. So what AI is done, the chat GPT is just a teaser of what's to come, just like the internet was. When the internet came, people didn't know, didn't think or envision what is that going to do to the daily operations, businesses, daily lives, and so forth. Then the e-commerce came right after that, all the dot-com eras. And then pretty much life changed and businesses changed because of the internet. But at the time, it's called internet. Now it's basically called the cloud. And now in the cloud, you store all your information, you buy everything, you subscribe to everything, you find information. So that's how everything got changed. So you got to look at ChatGPT as a beginning of the internet. Now there's going to pop up hundreds and thousands of different services, program subscriptions, and so forth that they're going to ask you to join and become a member of. Again, another evolution of that was mobile apps. When the first few apps came out, was wow, and now our cell phones are bombarded with the thousands of different apps, but we only use probably less than 10% of them. So AI is going to go to the same route, essentially, and it's going to get a bit confusing. So one of my recommendation is not to um, adopt anything too quickly, but be on top of it, look into it, search it, try it, but don't don't adopt it that quickly because there is a lot to become. But you need to be ahead of it. But the things that is going to be very effective, very quick, is the data gathering. So the AI that is going to do intake for your practice. Every question that you or your intake staff or case managers ask, AI can perfectly ask that, and it can look like a real person. It has a knowledge base that is probably extends a lot more than anybody locally can do, and has all the what ifs already figured out, and it can also know when to escalate. So when they ask a question and the question says, let's say for example a personal injury, and they say there was a catastrophic accident, or there was a uh, death in the situation, it can immediately escalate it to have it to talk to a live attorney that's connected and go on. But it can pretty much take care of 85% of the intake and all of the smaller cases or people who are just finding information. So AI is going to do all of that. So I'm saying be prepared with what's that to come for the intake process. Then the document collections, then setting up appointments for therapies and medical providers and all of that. The AI is going to take care of all of that. So a lot of people get worried about the security uh, of virtual staff that be working with the AI, or actually secure the AI itself. Just knowing that the people who are expert in this segment, who is basically cybersecurity and the redundancies and so forth, already been working into this program. Like for example, in our case, our virtual staff, we monitor their screen every 15 minutes. We capture it. We record every call they make or every call that comes in. We track and manage every website that they visit, and we don't allow them to store anything locally in their system. This is actually a lot more than the average law firm does for their own in office or within a US based virtual staff. Almost they won't dare do that because they lose a lot of uh, their staff that way. But we do that, and we report it, and we make it available to our network to be able to monitor, track, and make sure that the virtual staff working for them are safe and secure and the sites is secure. The other part is what I mentioned about LegalSoft. There's two parts to it. One is virtual staffing, which has been a biggest challenge with any law firm of type to scale, is the lack of qualified, available, affordable staff that are committed to the job. And typical costs, I'm sure a lot of people worry about the cost of it, is about 2,500 a month fixed cost for a full-time person, including all the benefits. When I say benefit, to our virtual staff, we provide them a full benefit, which means they get medical in the country they are. Their spouse gets a medical coverage. We give them retirement account. We give them allowance for high-speed internet. We provide them the workstation. We give them bonuses on our end. So they're treated completely like a regular full-time, long-term staff. So the other side of what LegalSoft does after solving the challenge of the staffing is helping the law firm to grow and expand. Typically, a, a typical law firm didn't need a marketing organization uh, within the firm to be able to expand and grow. But now you do, because it's very competitive. The online presence is getting more and more important. And it's not just all about the client and case generation anymore. It's also validation of the firm, its members, in their community, and so forth. So everybody who wants to engage with you in any shape or form is going to see your online presence to decide if you're the firm or attorney that they want to work with. So that consists of 4 or 5 different platforms in social media, your website, your webinars, your videos, your newsletter, how updated are you with the technology. So we don't know, small law firms cannot afford to have an entire marketing program or marketing staff. So we make it very available for those folks for less than 2,000 a month. Everything that I just said, we cover managing the entire social media, creating content, videos, webinars, posting, engaging, and then website maintenance, monthly newsletter, SMS marketing for holidays and anniversaries and such, a variety of other programs like your custom mobile app for your client retention, your client referrals. All of that could cost the firm less than $2,000 a month to do with no long term contracts. So, this is how we essentially engage, manage, and expand the law firms that we work with. Resolve their staffing issue, then resolve their growth issues in an affordable way. So there is several different aspects of the AI in the legal industry. Uh, Essentially, the machine learning. A lot of people still don't understand the machine learning concept because everybody got sort of embedded into the chat GPT, and they think it's just a sort of a very smart Google. But it's not that. Google doesn't necessarily, the searches doesn't learn from the search. In the AI, the machine learning part, you can basically just having like this prodigy genius kids at your home, 5-year old who's just finished their PhD at Stanford. Is that kind of a thing because it can learn anything very rapidly. It has access to a lot of information. I can literally unleash it on any subject, and every time it comes back with a result, I can reroute that result and send it back to go learn a lot more. And I can keep doing this until it almost becomes perfect. Um, so that's the understanding of the AI and where it's going, the actual AI machine learning environment. And that's going to impact a lot in law because a law is a lot about research, previous cases, case laws, verdicts, everything like that is all data. And basically, the machine learning and an AI platform is the god of that. Now, then the second stage is that how you want to be able to review when once you collect all the data, you want to be able to very rapidly review hundreds of thousands of pages of data, analyze it, summarize it, and be able to provide it in the fashion where you can use it for your practice. Again, AI can do that. It just needs the front end and a bit of control. And this is what a lot of companies are doing, making the front end easier for you to be able to do that. Okay. The third part is the predictive analysis. And the predictive analysis is always as an attorney, when you go into litigation, based on the case laws, you do all the research you can to have some predictive analysis of what's the outcome could possibly be based on previous pattern of the case types, the jurisdiction, the judge, the selection of jury, all that stuff you want to do to be able to predict your outcome and be able to explain it to your client. AI can do that. Can everything that you would want to review, analyze, uh, get all the percentages. What's my chance on this and that, and what's the possible verdicts? What's the value of the case? It can do all of that for you. And I say it can. I don't mean it's doing it right now, and you can just jump on ChatGPT today and get all of this done. But I'm giving you a roadmap of where this is going to become, and getting the practices uh, enabled and prepared to deal with it, utilize it, because if you don't, you're going to fall behind the curve. And then you're going to always try to play catch up. And it's going to be like one of those things that you feel like you're not as smart as the rest of the people in your class. So trying to prevent that by getting you ahead of it. And then after the prediction is going forward and analyzing what are the possible avenues after the verdict or after the judgment is in. What else can you do? You can do that too. You can lay out what are your course of actions after the case is completed. So this is basically overview of the roadmap of how the AI can begin by getting you a client and all the way to a heavy duty litigation, verdicts and verdicts analysis, and even going on appeal process and so forth. It will do the whole entire thing. It's basically the best assistant you can ever wish for. So some of the, not only on the AI side, utilizing the technologies is very important to be able to reduce your costs, increase your efficiency, productivity of the staff. So since we are a legal tech company, we continuously evaluating other technologies other than just the AI. So there is the custom mobile app that we provide for the law firms that helps them to retain a client, collect the client information, get the referral clients from them, um, collect the witness information, videos from incidents. All that stuff is basically on the palm of their hand. It's almost like having the attorney in their back pocket. Direct contact to the law firm, messaging, everything is built into a very simple to use mobile app that we provide to all of our clients. Information collection, document collections. We have built in technologies to be able to automatically and without the use of human resources to be able to contact the client, identify the documentation and information they need to provide, send them reminders, follow up. Again, all instead of having a case manager or paralegal chasing your client, the system, automated system does that. And then one of the great things when you're evaluating technologies is making sure they all integrate together. So you don't have to go to like 20 different places to get the job done because that defeats the purpose. So we have this platform called 360, which all of your operations from marketing, lead generation, lead management, communication, client retention, social media management, everything is in one platform. And our clients have access to it. Most of it is free to use. So again, we're trying to centralize it so you don't need, just like on your cell phone, you don't need 200 app downloads to do what you want to do. So we're making 360 as a centralized system where demand writing is in there, the AIs are in there, the mobile app, the lead management system, conversion system, client retention, referral programs, everything is in one location. And as part of a LegalSoft offering, what we do call it the Practice 360. So how AI can transform a law firm? I think we covered most of this thing to increase efficiency, productivity, access to data, reducing human resources cost, and speeding up the cases is also very important because one of the most effective ways to make the law firm or a case efficient and make it profitable is reducing the time for the settlements. And again, AI doesn't understand the wait. It's like when you're asking your staff and say, I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that, I'm been following up with this thing and that thing. AI doesn't have any of that. It's just there's no wait time. It's automatic follow ups, capturing, storing, analyzing, predicting, all happens instantly. So for those of you who are tired of hearing, oh, I'm working on it, I'm following up, I'm going to call the client, all of that stuff is basically going to go away. So building the foundation. Uh, so assessing your readiness for AI integration. I mentioned about research it, play with it, work with it, find out more in detail what everything is at, what's the access of AI means, what kind of a data it has access to, how efficient it is on the quality of the data collects or the recommendation it makes. One of the big issue right now with AI, because it's a learning thing, so it hasn't learned completely. So when it produces, when you saw on the news, sometimes when it produces a demand, the demand is not very accurate because it hasn't completely learned. It's a learning machine. So uh, you have to define your practice type and understand the impact of the AI in your specific practice type and what's the impact going to be. The book that I mentioned that is available also in Amazon, it does a brief description of the impact for each practice type, which it varies a lot from transactional law, immigration, estate planning, bankruptcy type of a thing, all the way to class actions, trials, and heavy litigations. So I try to explain, at least start the process of understanding the impact of AI into each different practice type. So the infrastructure is, you got to have a technology mind in place. You don't have to hire a company or expert IT or anything like that, but you just need to be aware of it, be engaged with companies and resources and the software infrastructures so you can be ready when this thing hits. And you can start doing a small migrations at a time by, for example, starting to use AI for your online chat, or doing a basic intake or client follow-ups, making sure you have the right equipment in your access and your staff, um, that they can use the AI and they can understand it. Having a staff getting some trainings for understanding of the AI in the law practice. This is all you build your technology infrastructure so you're ready to implement when everything is available to you for your type of a practice. So finding the right AI solution for your practice, um, as I mentioned, is a lot there and there's a lot more coming. So subscribing and being in tune and doing the search, or following different Facebook groups or different companies to make sure that anything new comes that is related to your type of a law practice or the area in your practice where you want to implement AI, you know about everything that is coming, and then sorting it and getting to know it a little deeper, a little better, so you can best use it. It's a very crowded market, and it's going to get a lot more crowded. And so don't get frustrated when you see it's almost like being spammed. Now we have it like an AI spam. It's like everywhere you turn, there's some AI thing going on. But don't get frustrated, don't get overwhelmed. Just pick and choose what you think is the best for your law practice and consult with others. Again, we are trying to be in the forefront of the AI at LegalSoft. So we'll be happy to answer any questions, clarify any understandings that is out there, and we'll be able to partner with folks to be able to help them implement the AI in the law practice. So data management and security. Um, as I mentioned, the data folks in the data business, they do everything they can to make sure the data is secure. Because if his data is not secure, then all the bets are off. It just can't happen. But it's still, there's always those incidents where there's a data breach and somebody gets access to the data they're not supposed to. So you're going to make sure you're always on the safe cloud base for all your data. Doesn't matter if it's your AI data, your case management data. Most of the companies you'll be probably working with in the CRM market, being FileOne, Clio, Litify, CasePair, all of these folks already have very safe, secure, redundant environments for the data that you're remembering. Um, Understanding that, look, it's not your local desktop, your server in your office or whatever, those no longer valid, and you should never have any localized data whatsoever. Everything needs to be electronic format, and Dropbox and Google Drive and stuff is not the ultimate solution either, because it's essentially a data location in a warehouse. It doesn't have any intelligence, it doesn't have any warnings, it doesn't have much. It's just a place that you put data, just, I would say, not a very important sensitive data. So all your client information, your case information needs to reside in the cloud base based on the providers and the vendors who have that environment. So please don't think because you're saving it on your laptop, on your uh, USB drive, or even on the Google Drive, that it is a safe place and it is um, like a data management system. Is not. Is a storage unit. Is no data management. Data management is when you have a relationship database like the CRM folks, like Salesforce, FileMine again, Clio. These guys have it. They have technical teams. They build a system that is solid and used for the law firm. So I highly recommend all the law firms to adopt a case management software that is best fits their practice. So the best practices for this, again, I mentioned about storing and having access and using all the tools that your data collection and management system provide. Often I see the situation where uh, attorneys think by just buying a case management software, they're done. That's just the beginning. No case management software is out of the box. I don't care what the vendor claims to be. It needs to be customized. It needs to be set up properly, and your staff and yourself have to be fully trained continuously to use and optimize the system for your practice. It is, I would almost say, it's like you want to have an office building. You just find a piece of land that is great to build the building on it. Um, Selecting a CRM is just that the piece of land that you just bought, and the vendor is going to help you build the building, but you have to monitor everything and make sure everything is done properly, and the end result of building that building is what you had in mind, planned, and paid for. So I highly recommend that you spend a good amount of time customizing. I bet you if I look at 100 different implementation of that software in the 100 law firm, I will find at least 80% of them that are not either properly set up or the staff are properly trained to use what you have paid for. So I definitely encourage you to take a look at that. So when you're doing this, you guys are dealing with a lot of different sensitive information, medical records, medical information, financial information, and so forth. So you got to make sure the accessibility to that data within your law firm is specifically set up the way you want it, and not just sort of setting up the system the way the vendor set it up for you, and you have a lot of contractors, interns, law clerks, uh, virtual staff, whatever. You got to be aware of what set of access to the data you are providing them, and the data are, when using the CRMs, all of those data are usually encrypted, so they are safe. But again, when you're saving it in any other place other than those uh, databases that I just mentioned, it most likely they're not encrypted, they're not have enough safety and security about it, and they're not in compliance with things like HIPAA compliance and so forth. So you got to be wary of that and make sure that the system you're using has all of these features built in. So implementation, let's say you spend the time and you found out there's these 5 amazing tools that you can use for your practice. So start easy, start with the simplest task, from the research, from the intake, from client retention, appointment setting, document collections. Start with those things first before you use it for litigation purposes, which is a lot more sensitive information, a lot more analysis, and very little room for mistakes. So you have to lay out your implementation of the AI in your practice. Again, this has a lot to do with the type of practice you're in. This is very different when you're doing corporate formation services, or you're doing, bankruptcy services. versus high level employment, class action, litigation. So you have to set this up very much based on your practice type. Again, if you ever need any help with understanding or digging deeper into this, we'd be happy to help. So you have to set up again. You're buying into a solution or something that is continuously changing. It's almost like the day you decide to do something, in a week that is obsolete, and there's another better improved version out. So you have to define what is your objective of implementing the AI, what is the end goals, and don't continuously change into something new. You know, spread it out into a couple of years of implementation that includes, defining the objectives, getting the trainings, making sure the data that you're getting from the AI is a quality data. Your emphasis a lot has to be to identify the quality of the data and integration with other systems, because you don't want to go to 20 different places to get something done. So the integration is also a very important part. Um, so your growth and the scaling for the practice, obviously, if you're using the AI in the earliest stages of lead generations, conversions, intake, that's all going to help with the AI. You can reduce a lot of human resources, increase your conversions drastically by using AI in the front end. There is a 24/7 a smart, responsive intake, document collections, and setting up the case management process. So AI can definitely give you a great growth opportunity by using that, because the investment on this is fraction of what you would typically invest with the human resources. Um, Scaling is with AI is just using it more. You scale. It's not like you need to go hire five more people or get five more, subscription to software or consulting or contractors. It's continuously scalable. Um, you need to be checking out the quality of the work that it produces. That's, I cannot emphasize enough on everything that AI is good for and it's going to help you, but you still cannot put it on autopilot. You need to check the output, the information that comes out, the recommendations that it makes. It still needs to be heavily verified before it's been used, until it learns so much where your need to audit it and review it reduces to fraction of what you start by now. So when you're able to scale with the AI, now you can, let's say you're practicing in California and all of a sudden you want to practice in another state. The AI, tremendous help there. It can find out everything related to your practice type in the state of Texas and tell you how you need to modify everything from your retainer, from your processes, from the restrictions within the state, the bar recommendations, all of that. It can basically create a recipe for you to go out of a state and practice in another state, and lays out the requirements, the restrictions, and everything for you. Um, and you can have a lot of different partnerships within the other states with the firms who are in the same path with you, and combine using the AI to help both entities to scale out of the area. Ethics and regulatory. This is what we talked about in the beginning. Um, there's a lot going on. There's so many lawsuits going on about shared data, use of data, purpose of use of data, and all of that stuff going to go on for a while until it settles. There's a lot of ethical issues still about access to the certain sensitive data, to the databases and the data warehouses and so forth. It's still yet to be settled, and I think we haven't seen it all yet. We're probably at the 30% of what about to see about the ethical concerns. There's going to be a lot of regulation needed to be in place to be able to protect the data and protect the consumer and the use of the data. I think everybody is scrambling to figure out how to do this and when to do this. There is people on both sides of the aisle about how to limit or manage or control or regulate the AI use of the data. So it needs to comply with, again, the bar regulations, the ethics standards for specific states, state versus federal. There's a lot to come, but there is going to be at some point the ethical standards that needs to be complied with. It's not there yet. I'm expecting another maybe year or two before the ethics side of things settles. So uh, this is sort of a continuation of the ethics rules and the controls. And you guys were practicing, you see how even from a state by state, from bar ABA to ABA, everything changes. Unfortunately, we don't have one unified, standards nationwide, and every state sort of makes their own. And AI needs to be nationwide, if not globally. So there is a lot that is going to happen to make sure the use of the AI is fair for both defense and plaintiff. And this is also in the works. Again, this is caught everybody by the surprise. Nobody was prepared for all of this. So everybody is scrambling, trying to figure out what to do next. So, for everything said and everything I try to explain, going back to the legal soft services, as you can see, we're involved with a lot of different things in the law practice, but entire focus of the company is law practice. We have an amazing team of experts in the company that specializes in different part of the practice type, from technology to marketing to client retentions to networking, all of that stuff. And for the audience, for this, my team created a promotion. So if you scan um, the QR code on the slide, you're able to try one of the services at about half of the cost of the standard virtual staff that we provide. So please feel free to scan the QR code and get in touch with one of our representatives so you can get more detail on how this process works and basically get to try to do the virtual staffing route. It's really not much choices. If you want to scale and grow, you got to do two things or three things: automation, virtual staffing, and AI. That's a thing of the future. And if your law firm doesn't adopt, essentially is going to be left behind. So I highly encourage you to contact us or look into these things that I talked about the tools and the virtual and so forth, and see what fits your law practice the best. And you can also, I have three books out, are basically my thoughts on the whole purpose of this. Was there people asking me, is there a place where I can read what you say? And I encourage me to actually publish the book. So if you scan that code, you also get a free copy of these books, which they're not very large books, but it will help you to get in line with what's happening next with your practice and your practice type. Okay, I guess we can go to questions and answers if I can help anybody.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, and if you guys have any questions, send them through the chat, and Hamid will go ahead and answer them for you. We'll give them a little bit because I know there's a delay from the streaming. I am not seeing any questions come through, so we will go ahead and thank you so much, Hamid, for presenting. That was a great topic. And if anybody has any questions afterwards, where can they reach you at?
Um, LegalSoft.com is our website, and my email is hkohan at legalsoft.com. Is the HKOHAN at legalsoft.com. I'd be happy to directly engage with any of the attendees.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for attending. Everyone, have a great day.